Guitar tone aficionados, what's up? It's Pete Thorn, welcome to my studio. Hey, I hold here in my hand the pedal that helped me create all that ambient, luscious, gooey goodness on the track at the beginning of the video. It's the Black Hole Reverb from the nice folks at Eventide. So the Black Hole Reverb algorithm or sound was available a number of years ago for the first time in a pedal called the Space. It was a bigger pedal, really full-featured reverb pedal, more expensive, really cool pedal, but maybe more than some guitar players would need possibly. Then they brought out their H9 pedal. That is the Swiss Army knife of guitar pedals. Incredible, one of the greatest pedals of all time, really. Great pedal. I've got two of them on my pedal board and I've used them for a number of years, so obviously it gets my personal endorsement. Does everything from mod to fuzz to delay to certainly reverb. And that's how I've become accustomed to using the Black Hole Reverb algorithm is in my H9s, and it is something I use all the time. Matter of fact, I used it 2 days ago on a session. You can turn it on, hit an E minor chord, and they look at you and go, "You're a genius, let's lay that down, it sounds amazing." So it's a pedal that'll actually make you money. But once again, the H9 may be more than some guitar players need. If you've already got your pedal board stocked and you're like, I just need a luscious, expensive sounding, but not expensive reverb that sounds like it's expensive. I have your pedal. Seriously, I mean, just sounds, as far as the sound quality goes, well, you heard it on that track. I mean, the reverbs tail off into just never land in a luscious, gooey goodness. All right, I'll stop with the adjectives, but it is a really, really incredible sounding reverb algorithm. It's not a one-trick pony, though. You can get smaller reverb sounds, more like halls and plates and things like that out of it that are sort of more typical, but it really lives in that zone where long reverb tails. It's kind of addictive once you get used to it, and you can make them work is the thing without them overtaking or enveloping your dry guitar sound. You can do buffered bypass, relay bypass, DSP plus effects bypass, or kill dry. It's got stereo ins and outs. The stereo input is on a TRS jack, but you can just do mono with it if you want to as well. And it's also got a guitar or line level switch on it, so if you want to use it in an effects loop that's kind of hot with an amp or something, or maybe run it with a mixer or something that's line level, you can do that. Now it's super easy to program. That's one of the nicest things about it. Really small and compact and just really easy to program right on the unit using these knobs. There's a switch here that allows you to shift to kind of a secondary function mode. So almost every one of these knobs has a secondary function. It's really easy to use once you spend a little bit of time with it. And you can store 5 sounds right on the unit. But there's a jack on the back, USB, so you can hook it up to your computer, and there's a great editor available, and you can store more sounds in the editor and then swap and mix and match between the computer and the pedal if you want. You may never do that. To be honest, I've got one setting that I use on my H9 a lot, and then I just tweak it on the fly if I need to when I'm at sessions or things. But that one main sound is kind of the way that I mainly use the Black Hole Reverb algorithm for my ambient stuff. So yeah, 5 sounds to have 5 different presets on it available on the pedal itself. I think that's plenty actually. You can also hook up an expression pedal if you want to. Via expression pedal, you can control any number of functions. If you want to say tail out the reverb size at the same time that you increase the mod rate or something like that, you can do that all on the same expression pedal. Some of the functions or controls on the pedal, some people might find new and might be like, what's that do? Like there's one labeled gravity, there's another one labeled Q. What does that do? Well, I can show you. I'm going to show you all that stuff in a second here. So let's solo some of those parts from the song at the beginning of the video outside of the mix, then I'll also give you some more explanations and playing examples. The one thing I didn't get to in this video is using the freeze function. It's super easy to explain though. You can hold this button right here and it'll freeze the last thing you're doing, and then with a dry sound you can play on top of it. So you've got this reverbed out kind of like pad thing going, and then you can play a riff on top of that and then release it and let it go. All right, let's get on to the music. It's the Black Hole Reverb from Eventide. So I've just recorded the first track in my song here, which is the kind of the basic melody. Goes something like this. And as you can hear that tailing out, this is how I used always in the H9, kind of the Black Hole Reverb in general. These beautiful ethereal kind of like, reminds me of Blade Runner or something. Those kind of soundscapey things are what I use this algorithm for. If you're doing any kind of volume swells. That kind of stuff. And you'll notice I've got the gravity setting high. The gravity setting when it's higher has this really smooth quality to it that's nice. If I lower it, now you can get all these different characters, the inverse gravity. It almost sounds like pre-delay in a way. It's not, it's something else, because there is a delay control that allows you to do pre-delay. It has an effect on like how the reverb swells up and then tails, or whether it's just smooth all the way through. I don't know how else to describe it other than that in layman's terms. Okay, so I just moved it up from the inverse gravity to the, I guess, I'm not sure exactly what they call it. And as the control's almost 3/4 of the way up, the tail just gets really, really smooth and even. And that's how I use it most of the time, unless I'm going for something special. And as I get into the tracking, the more parts in the song here, I'm going to attempt to use that in a different way. As far as some of the other controls go, I wanted to mention the Q right now. The Q control is resonance. It kind of almost has the effect of adding almost like a very mid-range centric almost distortion to the sound. I don't know if it's distortion technically or what it is, but it sounds smoother when you pull it down, and then as you bring it up, the sound gets more mid-focused and almost grittier. I'm just gonna once again just play a little bit and you can hear what it does. Okay, the last thing that I did, and you saw me do it at the end of the tune, is I turned the depth control right at the end of the song. That's modulation, of course, and as I crank the depth way up with a relatively slow rate, it grabbed the thing, and then it's modulating all of a sudden, it's dropping the pitch down. So I just recorded the part that's kind of like the high melody. It's really just a double up an octave from the main part. And you'll hear right away, I've got a ton of what would be considered pre-delay on the sound. So, you know, you can set a delay before the reverb kicks in. And that really works well to use like a lot of reverb but still maintain clarity and not have the main part get completely mushed up by a ton of reverb. So okay, for this sound I also set the size way bigger, so it's about 3/4 of the way up. And I've got the lows and the highs trimmed a little bit just to clean it up and stuff. The more you dial back the lows and the highs too, the cleaner, like the more size and tail you can get on the reverb without it clouding things up. You know, if you really trim the lows and the highs, you're left with a smaller sound, and that makes it easier to sort of slot it in there. Thanks for watching my video on the Black Hole Reverb from Eventide. This thing sounds like $1 million, but isn't $1 million. Just a really, really terrific sounding reverb that's easy to program, and yet sounds like it would be expensive and hard to program. So they've really got a winner with this one. Whether you're going to run your reverb at the end of your pedal chain in front of clean amps, or maybe in the effects loop of an amp, this thing will work equally well whether you got to run it at guitar level or line level. If you like to edit and store presets on your computer, you can do that, or you never even have to access the computer editor if you don't want to. You can do everything right on the unit. You can check it out further at the link that you see down there in the video description below. Click there, it'll take you to the Eventide website and all the info you could ever want to know about the Black Hole. Thanks to my pals at Eventide for continuing to make great pedals. I'm a longtime user, love having some of their stuff on my pedal board. Please hit subscribe if you haven't, and hit the little bell beside the subscribe. You will get an alert every time I put out a new video. I'll see you real soon. I'm Pete Thorn. Take care out there. Over and out.